This is Father Damien Richards, I'm pastor of St. Nicholas of Myra in Hayes and St. Francis of Assisi in Munger. The feast of my patron saints, Cosmas and Damian, is on September 26th, and this is an icon that I have of Cosmas and Damian that hangs on the wall over at the rectory. And I remember a moment when I was 5 years old that I noticed my name read in the Mass. And I was being wiggly, so Mom sat me down, put a missalette in my hand, and she had opened the missalette to the first Eucharistic prayer, which is where we were in the Mass, and she pointed to where the priest was in the readings. And I was 5, and I was a very eager reader then, and I still am, as a matter of fact. So I started following along the Eucharistic prayer. And my ears perked up, and I got very excited when I heard and read Cosmas and Damian and all the saints. Like any kindergartner, I was very excited to hear my name read publicly. Now, why does the first Eucharistic prayer include the name of Cosmas and Damian? Well, they were very popular saints, even though the facts about them are pretty sparse. They were twins, and they were doctors. The legend said they were very good doctors, even transplanting a leg from one person to another. And they did all these medical marvels out of compassion, not out of greed. They treated people for free. And since they treated people for free, they were called the moneyless ones. So they didn't have any money. And they were martyred in Rome in the early history of the church, so 200s or thereabouts. And the popularity of Cosmas and Damian, it's easy to see. If you were sick, what saint would you want to call on? Of course you'd want to call on a pair of doctors who are saints to ask them to intercede for you so that you could get better. So it goes a long way to explaining why Cosmas and Damian are included in the first Eucharistic prayer. But I want to talk about the power of name today, just as my ears perked up when I would hear Cosmas and Damian read in the Mass. We have forgotten the power of name in the Western world. In ancient times, the person's name was regarded not only as a label, but as keys to understanding the nature and essence of the person. The name you chose for your child was supposed to touch on the essence of who that child was. Sadly, that custom is long lost, or it's treated frivolously in our modern-day world. Modern society encourages us to choose names for inane reasons, to name a child after a character from a TV show or after a famous entertainer. Instead, we end up ignoring the heritage and legacy and destiny that comes with a good name. You see, when done right, a name reflects your heritage. A good name reminds you of where you came from and gives you pride in your ancestors. A good name also reflects your legacy. If you were named after someone, you were given an automatic role model. A good name inspires you to follow the example of those who came before you. A name also helps set your destiny. Biblical names are notorious for this. Emmanuel means God is with us. Abraham means Father of Nations. Your name should help guide you in choosing how to live your life and what you want to accomplish with your life. So, choose a name carefully for your child. More than 50 years after I first heard my name in the Eucharistic prayer, Cosmas and Damian and all the saints, it still has an impact. Maybe not as much as when I was a kindergartner recognizing a word, but it is still a reminder to me of who I was named after and how I am called to live my life today. May you examine your name today to remind you of the way you are supposed to live life.